Valve the Disciple is the newest raid in Destiny 2. It released alongside the Witch Queen expansion, which came out earlier this month. Now, each major expansion gets a new raid, and these raids are the centerpiece of the game in many ways. How did this raid turn out? Let's go over the best two and worst two things about this raid, along with an overall score. Unfortunately, we need to start with one of the worst things about the raid, because honestly, it's the most important. Going into this raid, the biggest question was challenge. With the arrival of Void 3.0, we are stronger than ever, so how was Bungie going to challenge us in this raid? Now, judging by the story campaign for Witch Queen, the answer was going to be a combination of larger spaces and enemies coming at us from a variety of directions and elevations. But the answer turned out to be simpler than that. How was Bungie challenging us during the raid? They weren't. Valve the Disciple turned out to be easy, painfully easy. The most dangerous enemies in the whole raid? Random red bar scorn before you even get inside. Now, contest mode was obviously harder, but it was also a total disaster full of inexcusable bugs and error codes, and either way, it's now gone forever. The boss, Rolk, is a new type of Destiny raid boss, but he has 2 attacks, and concludes with a lazy and pointless DPS check, where Bungie abandons actual mechanics and has to crutch on obscuring our vision to approximate anything resembling actual difficulty. Luckily, the previous encounters can be fun, but it's because of where you're fighting more than what you're actually doing there. And that leads to the best thing about this raid, the environment. The raid environment here is very well done. For those who don't already know, the raid takes place inside one of the series' pyramid ships, an environment that's been hinted at for a long time, but is just now making an appearance. The ship is very cool, very atmospheric, and it allows for a scope and a scale that genuinely feels epic. It's mostly a dark space, but there's interesting splashes of color, Piet Mondrian-like color for you art fans out there. And it also contains an amazing skybox that's relevant to the story as well. Now, it's a good thing the environment looks great because you will spend a lot of time staring at it, because besides the third encounter, this raid is slow, to the point where the only boss battle besides the final boss sees you standing around waiting for him to slowly waddle his way up a ramp so you can wreck him. Only 2 people in this encounter have any kind of interesting job, and the boss is of course health gated. Entering the pyramid, which begins the raid, is an even slower encounter, and honestly, it's a longer and less interesting version of a public event. It involves more standing around in one place, as you'll die if you stray too far from the thing you are slowly escorting towards the pyramid. Now, back to the pro column. This raid contains a solid variety of guns. There's nothing earth-shattering here, but the weapons fill important gaps in the current lineup, including a new lightweight SMG in the kinetic slot, the first ever stasis fusion rifle, and a solar linear fusion rifle. Each of these has interesting perk combinations and a solid origin trait that makes them stand apart from what we currently have. Now, there are a few downsides in the gun category. The raid exotic remains a random RNG drop, and while everything else is craftable, we have 0 information right now about when adept versions of the weapons are coming and how they interact with crafting, if at all. Now, overall, it is clear that Bungie has the art and design talent to really craft something special. But they didn't do that this time. The solid loot and striking environment can't fully overcome a slow pace and potato level difficulty, leading to a middle-of-the-road grade of B. Anyone interested in Destiny should definitely play this raid, but they should play it with their expectations firmly in check. Thank you for taking time to listen to this review, and let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts on the raid.